All right. Well, hey guys, it's Casey Corbin, and I have Zinnia here with me.
Hello.
And we are both in Georgia, believe it or not. And so Zinnia is in Atlanta. She's in the cool section of, of Georgia, and I'm in the South, which is not very cool, but it's pretty okay. But very good. And so Zinnia is here for us to do a little consulting and coaching for her fluid art classes. So, Zinnia, how long have you been teaching in fluid art?
So I've been doing it. I did it all 9 months of last year
Oh, cool.
because I actually started and then I found out I was pregnant.
Ah, I wondered if that was the 9 months.
Yeah, so I trudged along the pregnancy and then I stopped when I had my baby. And then just in the beginning of January, he was a couple months old, I decided like, okay, I'm gonna try this again, but I'm gonna do it like more full time. And
Great.
and 3 months in, we're here now.
All right. All
Yeah.
right. So your baby is how old now?
6 months.
6 months. Great.
Yeah,
What's his name?
Thomas.
Thomas. How cool. Well, I just had my first grandbaby, and he was here
Oh
just a minute ago.
yeah.
And in fact, I had to change my shirt so that I didn't wear spit up in this.
Yeah, that's that's what babies do.
That's right. That's right. He's 6 weeks old. So,
Oh, that must be so exciting. First time being a grandpa.
yeah, yeah, it really is. So I'm pretty thrilled about that. All right. So Zinnia has done a really good job of filling out the form that I sent you. It's basically a Google form, and filling those things in. And so we're going to take a look at her Facebook uh, group here, and I'll go ahead and put it up just for you guys to have something to look at. There we go. Art by Zinnia. All right. So we'll put that up. There we go. Okay. So didn't she do a good job, everybody? I like those colors. Looks really neat.
Thank you.
Neat. Great. Did you have anything specific that you wanted us to make sure that we use this time for to cover?
I think my main thing is I had it figured out in my head. I was teaching at Hobby Lobby
Mm-hmm.
and I was really starting to get the hang of that. I was really going to do that full time. I was going to fill up all my classes, and now we have to stay home. And
Yeah,
it
if
was a
anybody's
little.
watching this in replay, like, months, years from now, we are smack dab in the middle. Yesterday, our governor ordered a stay in place order, and school is canceled to the end of the year, and, all kinds of stuff. So that's, if you're watching this, like, not live, that's what's going on in our lives here.
So I was a little crushed by that.
Mm,
I mean, the past like 2 weeks I've been like a little bit kind of like grieving, like I don't get
mm,
to do this anymore. And so I put together my group and I'm trying to kind of transfer over everybody that likes my page onto my group. Um, and I'm trying to go live more on there. And I guess there's two things that I don't know how to do. I don't know how to do an online class. I don't know what that looks like.
okay.
Like, I don't
Mm-hmm.
know any of the technical things or anything. And then there is some type of like mindset thing where I'm like, why would someone pay for this when they could just watch a YouTube video? Like, why am
Mm-hmm.
I going to be charging for a YouTube video? Like, I'm not really sure.
That is a great question.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good, good. Well, the cool thing is that you already have the technology mastered that you need. All right. I've done several of these over the years, and you're the first person that has not only their profile, good to go, but also their personal profile and your business page, but you also have a group in place. Okay. So
Okay.
you're more advanced than some of the other people that I've worked with at this stage in the game. All
Okay.
right. So it's real easy for you to have a closed group. It can be an addition to I see you have over 600 people that have liked your Facebook group, right?
Or my Facebook page, and on
Facebook page, okay.
yeah,
All
my
right.
Facebook group, I have uh, 50, I think. Not very many. less.
Oh, okay. I see where why I'm saying that is because there's a little section that says on your group that Art by Zinnia has 611 likes. Okay, so while I was on your group, it was telling me about your page.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I wish my group had 600. Yeah, I want to try to get all those 600 people onto my group, but I kind
Yeah,
of don't know how either. I've been working on it a little bit.
yeah, yeah. Well, that will come, for sure. And have you attended any of like several people offer Rachel, I'm trying to remember her last name now, about getting people into your Facebook page and engaging them through your profile. Have you had any kind of training on that yet? Rachel Miller is her name.
No, no, I haven't seen that.
Okay. Well, look up Rachel Miller. She has free challenges, which are, and she's kind of like the Facebook uh, page group, queen. It's like she's the go-to for all of the big gurus, out there. And so she offers these challenges and these resources, and then some really practical things. And you also need somebody who's kind of going to be an expert to keep you apprised of what the Facebook algorithm is doing today that it
Mhm.
didn't do yesterday,
Right.
because it
Always
changes so much. Yeah.
changes. Yeah.
But honestly, you guys see you got 45 members in your group, and
Hmm.
so if and these people you've not charged for, I understand, right? They're just coming into your group to be able to, be a part of that. You could start another
Right.
group. I have over 10 pages and over 10 groups. I don't maintain them. Some of them I've done for a long time ago. So you can have almost an unlimited amount.
Hmm.
I don't know if there is a limit actually. So you can easily start another group and you can have that one to be closed. And people
Okay.
can pay like a monthly amount to be a part of that. And Kathy Morgan, that moderates the Teachers Flow group, for me,
Hmm.
she does a one. I don't think she charges enough for it, and I've told her so. But she said, but she has like it comes out to $100 a year, I believe, for no, that can't be right. It's $16 and something a month, and all she does on that group for those people is that she has something that's a pre-recorded video on there, and that of course goes into the video vault there that people can access anytime they want to. And she does one live, a month, and she gives people a heads up as far as what supplies that they need to have on hand. And she's retired, and she really did it to be able to stay in contact because she goes from Michigan to Florida back and forth, and so she wanted to kind of keep in contact with people.
Hmm.
And so that's a very simple way to do it, and you have absolutely zero costs on your platform or something like that. Well, Kathy's on there, 135, she says. All right, thank you, Kathy.
Cool.
Bragging about you, Kathy. Oh, and hello, Angela. By the way, guys, if you would please, if you're watching live, please say hi, I'm live. And if you're watching a replay, please say hi, I'm in replay. We'd love to see that. So that'd be great. If you have not clicked on the link that's above in the post here that says something about StreamYard, that's the service that I use. All you have to do is click that once, give them permission to be able to show me your name like Angela and Kathy have. That shows up on my just for my dashboard, so it's a little helpful to me. But what do you think about that approach? Do you think that's something you might be able to do, Zinnia?
Oh yeah. So I guess I still kind of feel like, and I know what the answer is to this as well, but I don't know what it is in my head that I need to say to make those like connect together. So
Mm.
like making a video or um, a pre-recorded video or a live video, like why would someone pay for that when you could get that like on YouTube? Like I guess because when I would do the Hobby Lobby classes,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of that was around, well, I'm creating an experience, I'm getting
Mm-hmm.
people together.
You're
And so
right.
that was a lot of, what am I giving to people? And then so with that taken away, now I'm going back to like, well, people could watch, just
Mm-hmm.
a free video. And then so the answer then is, well, you also get me, right? Because
That's right.
I'm special
Yeah,
and,
yeah, yeah.
and no one teaches like I do. So
Mm-hmm.
that's really what you're paying for. So it's like I know the answer, but also at the same time I have that little thing in my head that's like,
Yeah. Well, let's put it in more specific languages. They're getting connection to you, and
okay.
they're getting access to you, right? So, like, usually, if they're part of that group and they have a question for you, they can private message or they can post on there, and you're going to respond. You might respond hours or days later, but when it's convenient to you, but they're getting access to you. right? So all of it is about connection. You are selling you, when you're selling this, and you're selling access to you. You're selling part of your expertise and your knowledge, right? What took you hours and hours and hours to learn, you can now abbreviate that process for other people. The weirdest thing about the old argument, and people ask about my membership program, right? For teachers of fluid art, why should I pay you for information that I can go find on the internet for free? And the thing to think about is like, yeah, we are now in what I call the post information age.
Mm-hmm.
We now have a generation of people that have had access to any information at their fingertips. And the problem with having access to any information is you have access to all information and
Mm-hmm.
you're overwhelmed by it. So you
Yeah.
go out there and search, like take for example silly questions that we see people ask that are just getting started in this group. Like, you guys say I have to have silicone, to make my, am I using caulk? Right. We all laugh at that. Like, no, you don't use like the kind of caulk that you would frame a window in or, seal your bathtub with, right? That wouldn't work at
Yeah.
all. But just think about what that means in the atmosphere of being connected to you, right? Somebody could ask that question and you say, no, 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 that's silicone too. But what we're talking about is this silicone or dimethicone or what you can find, in hair products or what, and they're going, oh, okay. Well, how many YouTube videos would they have to watch before that answer they get the answer to their question?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's getting access to you. It's connection to you. Um, Another little take for you, especially in the COVID 19 crisis, is that I had a conference call with the lady that does is the education director for near me is Thomasville Center for the Arts, and then also her boss, which is the director of the whole program. It's a pretty large art center there in Thomasville, Georgia. And I had just called them and said, listen, I understand that you've canceled all your classes in person because of the crisis. If any of your teachers want to, I do a lot of stuff online, and so if any of your teachers wants to learn how they could maybe transfer and you guys could continue to offer art classes but online, let me know and I'll be happy to help. Well, they were saying, well, will you get on a conference call with us? And I did today, and that just kind of naturally emerged into I've got a 4 week series with them online,
Mm-hmm.
starting on the 15th of this month, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and the whole theme of that is that some little live videos that I started doing just here at home to try to just help people, with boredom
Yeah.
is I said, look, I've got a ton because I'm sponsored by Deco Art, so I get all the paint supplies that I can eat, right? I said, but I'm not going to touch any of those things, and I'm going to teach you guys how to make fluid art out of stuff that you have around your house.
Yeah.
And so I went to my shed and old paint, old house paint,
Mm-hmm.
WD-40. I raided my wife's, it had some dimethicone and some hair products, and stuff. And I just said, here's, and we talked about alcohol or dish soap and, what you can use instead of pouring mediums, and help people to find how they could do this just without having to go shopping,
Right.
without having to go out, and what they already have. And
Mm-hmm.
so if you want to borrow that angle, feel free, in your area is here's, this stay in place order is, if you read it, it is really tight. It means you can't even go visit
Right.
somebody, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So if we can make that happen, and I'm probably going to create a unit on the teachers group about what I'm doing there, so that they can do that as well, right? Have a list of, here's a list of alternatives to pouring mediums. Here's a list of alternatives to additives for cells. Here's a list for alternatives to, the most ideal paint that we could possibly get.
Mm-hmm.
See where I'm going with that?
Yeah, and I have so I was trying to kind of follow whatever ideas I had in my head because I didn't know where to go. And so the first one I had was, why don't I do like a free kids class? And I thought I would do that because we're gonna do like kind of like the alternatives, like just use water and
Mm-hmm.
just, reuse like yogurt cups and, that kind of thing. And it was just
Love
going to
it.
be a simple class just to kind of like me test it out and see like how that goes for me. I don't even
Yeah,
know
absolutely.
how I'm going to film that or anything, but I'm going to do it. And then also to kind of from there, like show people like a little glimpse of something, and then the classes that I do from there, well, they're more I guess technical, like, well, this is like actual pouring medium that you use, and this is like all the other stuff that you can really
Sure.
use. So
Yeah, I think that that's a great idea. I think that, we're kind of on the same page there, about what the possibilities that we can do with this, and that's a great idea. I love it. I think, and you're also doing what we call the learn before you earn stage, and so offer some things for free, try it out. If it
yeah.
belly flops on you,
Hmm.
no problem, right? Just get up and do it again.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing, because I'm like, I feel so nervous doing like I would hate to do like a video where I charge people and then like the technology messes up
Hmm.
or the class just isn't right. So I'm like, let me just kind of test it out and be like, oh, it's a free kids class, and then if it flops, it's like, well, this was
Sure.
free.
Yeah, and I totally agree with that to a
Yeah,
point, because you don't. It's if we go, well, I'm not going to charge until I'm ready. We have to be careful, because none of us are ever 100% ready.
right.
So
That's
have get some experience on your belt. You also might want to consider just doing some one-on-ones. So that you can that way you can have immediate feedback. If you're teaching to a group of people, and maybe there's a dozen people watching, or who knows how many people watching, they're not going to raise their hand. They're not going to stop you. They're not going to say, wait, I don't understand. So if,
What platform do you do a one-on-one online class on? Like,
yeah, so you could do that. You could do it still in your closed Facebook group, and just do it as a Facebook Live.
oh, okay.
You could do it, well, even simpler is you could do it in Messenger, and just have or do it on your phone, with like a video call.
Okay.
Anything like that. And if you have access to other programs like Zoom and stuff, Skype, etc., you could do whatever somebody's comfortable with.
Right. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, yeah. But I like where you're thinking. I think that we all need to be what we call pivoting, right now. We need
Right.
to, there's so much that we cannot do right now. How can we continue
Hmm.
to do some work and help people and be a part of the solution? I'll tell you one other thing is that when I was talking to the director of the Art Center, I said, listen, this whole thing about essential, right? Essential services. We went to Lowe's today to my brother and I to build a wall in our house, and you're talking to the lady there at Lowe's, and she said, "Well, tomorrow, everything starts." And I said, "How's that going to shift here?" And she said, "Well, what we've heard is that they're only going to let us sell essential things." And I'm like, "Wow, what does that even mean?"
Hmm.
And she said, "Well, like someone's plumbing bursts and they have to get it repaired, or electrical."
Okay.
And I'm like, "Wow." And I think that it depends on how long this is going to go on, but at some point, we're going to have to realize that if people get too bored, they're going to defy the guidelines, right?
Hmm.
And so fun and education needs to be considered essential,
Yeah.
because, and it's what I was telling the lady, the director of Thomasville Center for the Arts. If you need to be thinking about that, what you're offering is ending boredom and engaging education for the people that are that are doing the classes and stuff, and that could keep them home. That could keep them okay, right? That could keep them engaged or looking forward to the class this Wednesday or whatever, so
Mhm.
that they don't just because at some point society's going to throw up their hands and say, I am done with this. And I mean, honestly, offering fun and education is so essential that it might actually save us.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree. It's a part of kind of like mental health. Like we need something to keep our minds
Hmm.
off of the fact that we're just home.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, for a lot of us, for 2 weeks now, we've been vegging out on YouTube and social media, and
Yeah.
pretty soon we're going to come to the end of that, where it's like,
Yeah.
yeah. So what we do as fluid art teachers, I think, has value, and I
Mhm.
think that it's something that we need to be doing right now, and we need to be offering it to the world. And like you can do it just real casual, like I've been doing free lives, in the afternoon. What I am going to be doing, with Thomasville Center for the Arts, there is they're going to manage all the sales. They're going to do all the collection through, we've been doing that online anyway through Eventbrite and ticketing services. And then I'm going to do a free thing on their page. I'm going to do a live to their page, which it'll be promoted within their emails, right? So go out to their I don't know, 5,000 people that they've got on their email list. I don't know what their number is. And telling them to tune in, Wednesday at noon on the 15th. And, Casey will be talking about how you can start doing fluid art with the stuff that you already have in your house. And, a supply list will be sent out ahead of time. Then they'll do a free class. And then they can choose to buy 3 more classes for the next 3 following Wednesdays after that, if they want to.
Mm-hmm.
So, real simple way to do it. Technology that everybody has access to.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel, I guess, like, I don't know, like I already had like a plan, but I just needed someone to tell me, like, yeah, go ahead, or you're doing a good job. I don't know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. And sometimes we just need that. We need permission, to be able to do that. All right. Well, I think we're covering some really good things, and we can go over your site if you like. I tell you what, I'll give you the choice. We can spend some time on your site, or there's a few things that I could point out that I'm releasing a new course that'll be out in a couple of days called Slump Time Business Strategies: Surviving to Thriving in the Corona Economic Crisis. And there's just some ways that we can kind of pivot in our businesses. And I'm trying to think of which ones of these. There's 10 points that trying to think would apply to you. The first one is just diversifying, going digital. So, how about I spend a minute on that, and then we can take a look at your Facebook stuff.
Okay.
Would that be okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, one of the main things is exactly what we're talking about is go to distance, right? Instead of go the distance, go to distance, go to distance. Social distance, go to what we call distance learning, what as a counselor I call distance therapy, right? Is the delivery of physical products and services, but doing it in a digital way. Yesterday we got the Texas Roadhouse has these meal deals, and it's pick up at the curb
Mm-hmm.
stuff. It was
Yeah.
great, There's a lot of food for a little money. We're really happy about that. We'll
Mm-hmm.
be doing that again. And then, what are you currently doing in storefronts and physical locations that you could change to a digital product? And then what we've been talking about is just right up that alley, right there.
Yeah.
By the way, if you wanted to create a digital course, right? I recommend that for a free opportunity to get your feet wet with that, as Thinkific will allow you to build up to 3 courses without any charge at all, and it just runs on there. I did my first course on Thinkific. Now I've got Podia that I pay for, and so I had Podia transfer everything over to there, so it's all on just one site. But a great way to get started and just see if it works for you
Okay,
is
cool.
to do it on thinkofit.com. Yeah, they're a good company, and it's easy to be able to work with them. And even doing subscription models, and that's kind of what we're talking about. Like Kathy's modeled for us, and what I suggested for you is do a monthly plan, monthly rate, for that. So that's just the opportunities that we have to be able to diversify, and I think that it's really for any industry right now. That's probably just the idea of thinking about what we're doing as essential, because I think it legitimately is.
Right.
Partnering with other people is like the example that I gave with me partnering with Thomasville Center for the Arts, right? And I've taught I've taught at 6 different art centers in a 60-mile radius of where I live, here in South Georgia. I'm going to be contacting the other 5, and I can be doing those simultaneously on the same closed group.
I didn't even think of that because I guess I had it in my mind like something local, but I could
hmm
even reach out to something even not local now at this point because it would be online anyway.
Yeah, that's right. But I mean, with you being in Atlanta, how many art centers do you have around you?
I mean, but I don't live like I live in the metro Atlanta area, so I am
Uh-huh.
kind of south. I'm in
Uh-huh.
Noonan. I don't know if you know where that is. It's
Say it
not
again.
Noonan.
Noonan, yeah.
Yeah, so um but there are art centers like north, like closer to the city.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, I think that you have some, if you, probably the first person that gets to them and says, "Hey, I can offer you a digital solution to the crisis that you have right now," will probably get the lion's share. So if I were you, I would experiment quickly and get something that you feel comfortable with, and confident in, and then start offering it to, these what we call JV partnerships or joint venture partnerships with these other organizations. They probably do not have a digital infrastructure in place, meaning that they did. If I said, which was one of the questions to them, they said, well, how would you do it? What would you do? And I said, we can do it real simple, just the way I explained it to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have the advantage of having that digital course already made. And so
Mm-hmm.
I can either use clips from it, or I can connect people to it, or when they buy it, I can give them free access or discounted access, or as an upsell. And so I'll be incorporating and basically doing a hybrid of some of it being a self-directed course, and some of it being that we'll be doing live, and they'll be able to raise their hand and ask questions in the middle of the session, or talk about
Mm-hmm.
struggles that they had, and just have my live attention there for an hour or two.
Okay, cool. I like that.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
get my head now.
Good, good. Okay, are we ready to take a look at your group?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, like I said, you're really good at branding. Obviously, have you done marketing before?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you're. I love how just everywhere it's the same kind of color, and you got yours, and particularly like I talked with Kathy when I did the review with her, is that since your name is in it, then it really makes for a great opportunity to have your picture there. I think that's just fine. For me, I just have my logo right here, right? Dynamic Fluid Art, and this is I use this too as a billboard. To How did you make this?
Canva.
Yeah, I love Canva. I'm on it every day. It's so easy. And
Yeah.
I used it for like a long time before I even started paying for it. And I just needed to upgrade some services for $13 a month. It's so worth it. But this is great. Yeah. And as we highlighted before, your own. Let's see if you have a comment as yourself that I could highlight on here. Okay, no, but well, let's use this person, Cheyenne, as if it was you, right? I would recommend that on your personal page that you have some things here, certainly a picture of yourself, but then you can also use what I call, your billboard, area here as an advertising. And then
Okay.
as you click on those, I wish that it's real hard for me to switch screens, but if you can, those are just photos, and so you can put information and link backs to your business page. So
Okay.
your personal profile, right, owns your business page, and your business page owns your group, right? And so try to keep them connected, even if you really want to, have that your personal profile is pretty clean. You want it to just be for fun, right? But wherever you go on the internet, you're kind of leaving that as a mark. Anytime that you make a comment, then people can just hover on it. It's the hover image,
Right.
and it pops up and it shows them how they can do business with you, right? What you can
Right.
offer for them. So
Okay.
your cover is very nice, and your profile picture is great. And then let's take a look at your about section here. Your about section with slow internet. The whole world is trying to get on the World Wide Web right now. Okay, there we go. All right, and so great. So you've got some contact information here, including your email address. Do you have a website?
No.
Okay. And your about pops into something that's probably a little too long. All right. So
Okay.
we want, is this your group or is this your
That's my
personal page?
page.
Page. Okay. All right. So you're, hey everybody, and you talk about yourself and where you grew up, and all that's good. The the about section is usually what people look at third if they're wanting to check you out. If they're wanting to say, hey, is this someone that I want to do business with, or what's the deal? This is well written. I like it. There is additional space to be able to go into more detail. I think that, and this is your story, so this isn't. Okay, I think that if you go into your about section, there'll be an area that you can put like a real abbreviated one paragraph,
Okay.
4 or 5 sentences in, that really just directs people to, if they see you interacting over here and you talking about your online classes, they're like, well, who is this and why should I take their online classes? If they can just go in there and you talk about basically you, why they should be listening to you, right?
Yeah.
Why they should
Yeah,
want
I've
that.
done that
Your
before.
experience, what you've created, your passion for this, and how you love sharing that with other people, that kind of stuff. That makes sense?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, great. Your call to action button is a send message, and so that's really good. Mine is visit group, so you can link this to your group, so if people want to go
Oh, I
to your
didn't know
group, they
that.
can do that. Yeah, so there's a lot of things that you can do. I'm not saying it's the right decision for you. Maybe send message is the right decision for you,
Yeah. Well, I
but
think
there's
I had that when I was just doing like in-person classes. So I
yeah,
just made the group, and I do want everyone to come to the group, and
yeah.
um, because it's just even. I think I did start the group like right before this all started because
Mm-hmm.
my intention was I want to make the class events in the group, and then that way I can invite everyone instead of I've been kind of advertising by going on local Facebook groups and being like, hey, I have this class. And I just kind of didn't want to do that work anymore. I just want to have like my people and then send the invite for the event, you know?
Mm, very good, very good. Speaking of events, let's take a look at your event section on your page right here. Okay, great. I am really glad to see this. Now, everybody, look how many events that Zinnia has made here. So that's a long list. I love it. Okay. Wow, mermaid acrylic painting poor parent and child. Okay, does
That one
that
was
not?
a big hit.
Yeah, I bet. I bet.
Everyone loves mermaids.
I bet. Do you follow Debbie, the furniture painter on YouTube? Do you know who I'm talking
Mm-mm,
about?
mm-mm.
One of her most uh, coolest or has got the most hits is her. She made a dresser, right, with mermaids on it, and so
Oh, cool.
seems to be the thing in. Okay, so we don't have anything coming up. Is that correct?
Yeah, nothing coming up.
Okay, so let's take a look at your last one, which was on March 14th. Okay,
Oh,
and
well, that
again,
one was canceled, but yeah.
okay, yeah, I understand. Um, it talks about Hobby Lobby. Okay, you got some great stuff here. Um, I would encourage you. Did you take my 5 Ps course?
Mm-mm.
It's free. It was a free 5P challenge. And it's also now located on the membership group, and so I would encourage you to do that. And it talks about this is this is good, and this gives information, and this is the how do I say the right way to do events according to what if you kind of generically ask people about how to do a Facebook event. You got all the who, what, where, why, and how, on here, and that's great. One thing that could be an improvement for you is to make your language speak to your ideal client avatar, which is the who your ideal person is, and having an understanding of who they are, and then you speak all of your messaging towards that person and what they're going to do, what their desires are, what they really need in their life. Because as soon as that clicks with the reader, then they're going, I'm going right,
Mm-hmm.
and it doesn't matter if your price is twice as much as somebody else's. Okay.
Right.
But I can't really go over the 5P challenge took 5 days, so I couldn't go into too much detail with that. All right, going back to so this is looking really good. How do you do your ticketing? How you do handle the
Eventbrite.
okay,
Event.
Eventbrite, great, okay, good. And I'd always recommend them because they cost very little and they for what you get, and they actually do some marketing for you. It's on the Eventbrite. Let's see. Go home. All right. Do you have an Instagram account?
Yes.
All right, great. How's that going? You're so good with visuals. I bet you're doing well on that.
Yeah. 700 like followers on there.
Great,
Yeah.
great. Is this resin?
Yes.
All right. Do you teach resin in your classes?
No, that was just one painting when I first started off that I did resin, and
Okay.
I don't like
You know,
it.
like,
No.
great. I got to tell you, it's not my favorite thing to do either. I have a half a gallon of resin left that I've kind of just let turn yellow because I don't. It's
Mine turned yellow.
yeah.
It's just sitting there.
Yeah, but Maggie, in the group over in Australia, she does a lot of resin work, and because of that, she charges a lot more for her
Mhm.
classes, right? And that's something that's, I mean, if you've mastered resin, you you deserve to get a lot for it too.
Right.
Good, good, good. All right, and so your timeline looks really good. Everything that's in here, I love that. And those are fun. So when we're posting, we want about a third of our posts to be, marketing, saying, hey, here's what I'm doing, why I'm doing it. You're invited. Please pay. And then a third of it to just be helpful, giving free advice, and then another third just to be kind of funny or engaging or what I call highly shareable posts. And those are the quizzes. Those are the things that get people engaged. Silly questions that seem to have almost nothing to do with your with what you do. All right, I am loving this. Okay, so these action shots here.
I love that
When
class.
I'm
It
sorry.
was I loved that class. That was a date night class, and I
Ah,
what I love most about these classes is getting people to have fun. Like we had so much fun. They thought I was hilarious. Like I just
I
like
love
make
it.
jokes all night, and they
Yeah.
have like really fun like date night experience, and my heart just feels so full when I do this. And
Uh,
I do feel a little heartbroken right now that I don't get to do that anymore, and
yeah.
I'm just not sure if the online experience is the same thing, so I don't know.
Yeah. Well, and it's something to be sad about. It's a legitimate loss. I love my students, and I love doing that, and I love watching them be so excited and have a good time. So there's a legitimate loss here. So,
Yeah.
um, and that's okay, to feel that. But this, if I were you, I would get this picture out, right? I would put it on all kinds of stuff. I'd consider even putting it on your billboard, because or your big cover image, because
Mhm.
it instantly tells people you don't just make this art, you teach it, and
Mhm.
these people are having a blast.
Right.
Yeah, good. All right. Well, it's you got again some great stuff here. And let's see, on your page, okay, like we talked about, you got over 600 likes, and that's not the most important thing, but it is a little bit of social proof when somebody gets on here, because if
Mhm.
nobody else likes it, then why should they like it? Is the thought on it.
Mhm.
The the other thing here is a tip. I'm not sure that it's for everybody, but to put a pin post at the top that talks about see first, right?
Yeah.
And so when you have here the following button, if you can encourage people to click see first, right? So when I do this, now I will not I hardly miss anything that you post because
Yeah.
Facebook's going to prioritize that. It's kind of the way this might be before your age because you're so young, but how Facebook used to be is that you posted something and everybody got it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. I
And
remember that.
now it doesn't work that way. Now I post it and 12 of the 1,600 people that are friends with me get it.
Right, and I heard that people see more content on your groups and if you do live videos. So that's why
Yep.
it clicked for me and I was like, I'm making a group. I did a couple of live videos. I
Mhm.
think they were really bad, but I was just like, we're doing this, guys, I guess. And so yeah.
Yeah. Well, those are just some tips for you. Encourage people to do the following, and use a pin post at the top to just talk about those things. All right. Well, wow, we've been going for almost let's go like 30, 35, 38 minutes here. What any questions that you might have?
Um, no, you gave me so much information and I feel so grateful and no, I think I wrote everything down, so I think I'm gonna go back now and try to do all the things that you said.
Cool. Well, the nice thing is that this is recorded too, so you can go back and watch it again. Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, Zinni, I think you've done a really good job. Had a lot of things,
Thank
and
you.
yeah, so that we can always tweak it. We can always constantly, improve things. Obviously, we're all pivoting right now to change from what we did before, and I got to tell you that just a little bit of encouragement for the doing this online, and then we'll wrap this up. Is that for 20 years I've been a counselor, and distant learning had been around for about half that time. So for years and years and years, sorry, distance therapy. And I thought that just, the way that I am gifted is I kind of feel what people are feeling, like kinesthetically in my body, when I'm with them. I thought, like, how could I counsel, over a video phone or, something? It won't work for me.
Okay.
And until I had to. And guess what? It worked. Everything worked fine. It worked really, really well. I did 2 sessions today, on on distance therapy. And so I just want to tell you that while we are kind of grieving the loss of doing our classes, there is some things here that we can still get back, and it might surprise you that how well it works.
I will definitely take that to heart because I think when I started counseling, I found someone that I loved, and then she told me we were going to do it online, and I was like, no, but that's not going to work. Like, I need you to be there, like in person. And she's like, no, it's going to be fine. And it was like the best counseling I've ever had. And now
Oh, okay.
like, it's no big deal. Like, yeah, we can do it online. It's the same thing. I'm still going to get the help I need. So
Cool.
that feels encouraging to hear that. Like I might just be saying like, "Oh no, like this isn't gonna work," and then I might do it and be like, "Why didn't I do this before?" You
Mm-hmm.
know?
That was my take. I was like, I feel so foolish for years. I said, I'm not doing that. And I should have done that. But, in a global sense, I kind of have a feeling that, years from now, when we look back at the COVID-19 crisis and, how that changed us as a society, how that shifted us a bit, right? I think that there's going to be some long-lasting repercussions from this, the way that, people that generation was affected after going through the Great Depression, right? And how they acted differently, how they conserved, how they did some things. I think that we're all going to be just fine, but I think that we will be changed. And this might be part of that, is that a lot of businesses have had this types of technology at their fingertips for a long time, but they've just kind of been stubborn, and not using it. And I think that a lot of us will, on the other side, will go, well, I was silly.
Mm,
So.
yeah.
All right. Well, it was Zinnia. It was really great talking with you, and thanks so much for joining us. If I can help you in the future, let me know. Okay.
Okay, thank you so much. Good
My
night.
my pleasure. Good night.
Bye.
Bye bye.